Hey y'all, this is Amanda from the Art Journal of Ambassador team, aka She Noted It All, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make an easy budget by paycheck budget in your bullet journal. And just a little reminder, this is a video I'm making, but I'm also made a blog that covers the steps that's going to be available on the Archer and Olive blog for you to check out. Okay, so first up, we're going to start off with supplies. So for today's project, I'm going to be using my A5 white dot grid journal, a pencil, a black fine liner, and the black calligraph from the summer sub box, and then some colorful calligraphs from the summer collection. So just a little background about me. I have been budgeting since about 2018, trying to pay off my student loans, as so many of us are. And what I've learned since then is that a lot of the budgets out there that are available to buy on certain websites or in budgeting books or from certain big name budget people, their setup is really close to one size fits all, and that's really not what a budget is. Sometimes you need to customize it. So what I started doing about a year or so ago is putting my budget in my bullet journal, and it made it in a way that's very customizable, and that's what I'm going to show you today, so that you can take this kind of template and make it into something that you can use to hopefully keep on track with your budget. And honestly, it doesn't take that long to make. It maybe takes me 20 to 30 minutes per page, and that's kind of stretched out. I mean, it could be even easier if you didn't want to add colors or anything nice. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so I'm going to work on this page for this example just because I'm right-handed, so it's a little bit easier for me than doing an example on this side. So we're going to do it on this side, and I'm going to start out by just doing an easy layout of the different budget elements, and then we'll go from there. Now I'm just kind of freehanding this. A lot of times I'll use a ruler as well, but you know, you don't have to be that fancy. If you're really a perfectionist, feel free to use a ruler, and if you don't care, you don't need to. It's just whatever you need. And these lines are going to be erased anyways. I'll probably not be as sloppy when I have my markers to make them look a little bit nicer. Okay, so here I have the basic layout of what my budget tracker is going to look like. Like I said, it's a little bit sloppy because I did it in pencil here, but I'm going to go ahead and start coloring it in, adding lines with my fine liner and my calligraph, and then I'm going to go over what each area is and how you can kind of customize this. Okay, so now we have kind of the basic setup there, and I mean, it took me maybe 10 minutes to do this whole thing by freehand. It does take a little longer if you use a ruler. Typically, when I do this in my regular journal, I do use a ruler, make it just a little bit fancier. So, another thing I noticed, I didn't let the fine liner dry quite long enough, so it did kind of smear. So just take note of that. Give your fine liner a little bit of time to dry before you color over it with a marker, or color first. It's up to you really, but otherwise you get a little bit of a smear going on, which bothers me a little bit, and I know it bothers a lot of other people. So, okay, onward, we are going to talk about how to use this budget. Okay, so let me tell you about the different elements in the budget. First up here at the very top, I like to put the date of the paycheck. I get paid bi-monthly or bi-weekly, twice a month. So I put the date there, and then I like to put the amount I get in the paycheck. Now, if you have multiple streams of income, or maybe you're married and you want to put both your paychecks here for the budget or whatnot, that can be totally added. You just scrunch the lines together or move things around. It's not a problem whatsoever. And then I get down here into the areas where you put your expenses. And I like to separate mine out because I budget them slightly separately. So on the left, I have bills. And on the right, I have other expenses. And at the top, I just kind of put some different examples of how you can organize it for your budgeting sake. My other expenses, you don't have to have all these columns, but I noticed for my bills, this is what works best. So in the first area here, I like to put the expense. So let's say rent, or electricity, or I don't know, Fairy Loot, or just some other subscription box, whatever you got, you put that here, and then you put the amount that you want to put towards it. Because I get paid bi-weekly, I usually like to put half of what I owe on one paycheck and the other half on the next. So I'd put, let's say that my rent was $800. I wish, that is a dream, but we'll just pretend for now. So my rent's $800. So I would put $400 here. Here, I'm going to write it out. Rent. 400. Month. Let's say the month is June. This is for my June rent. And this is my second paycheck for the month. So I've already put $400 in. Now I've got $800. So this is the second one. That's what this little number, this hashtag, this pound sign, whatever you want to call it at the very end is. I'm an elder millennial, so I can call it any of them. That's what that means. So I usually use that so I keep on track. I know if I already have the money put away or not for that expense. Now on the other side, for other expenses, these things are things that can fluctuate every month. It's not a set amount. It's not like a bill. So these are things like groceries or clothing. I like to make sinking funds. I like to put a little bit of money away every paycheck so that I know I have some set aside to put money on that. So groceries, I typically use my entire budget every paycheck, but things like toiletries and clothes, I don't usually use everything I put away. So I kind of have that keep rolling. So we'll go ahead, we'll put groceries here as an example. And let's say this paycheck, I'm single, it's only me, so I'm going to give myself $200. And let's say that I want to keep it mostly on my card, but I want to have some cash as well. So I'm going to take out $50 in cash, and this little S on the end is savings. So this is not something that's going to go into savings. So I'm not going to worry about that. Now, if this was something like I was saving for a vacation, I would put vacation. We'll say $300. No cash, but this money is going to go into savings. That way I know when I'm looking at transferring money into my savings account, I see the check mark. That's what I got to do. Okay, now once you have these filled out, you can fill out as many lines as you want. Say that you don't think that this many lines is enough for you for all your bills or expenses or whatnot. You can definitely stretch these down, make them longer. That's another customizable part of this. It doesn't have to be as short as I've made it here. I just like to have a note section at the bottom, but the note section could totally go away. Now, other expenses is also where I put one-time expenses. So let's say the Archer and Olive sub box, for example, it only comes quarterly, and I usually just pay it all at once. So if I'm going to put it on this paycheck, I would put the sub box over here and put the amount and just go on from there. I don't put it as a bill. It's just an other expense. And when you're done filling these out, you total them out at the bottom, all the amounts put the totals here, and then you're going to take them to here. Bills total, other expenses total, and then you add them together right here. And from there, you're going to take the amount you made in your paycheck and your total from other expenses and subtract that from your paycheck. And that's the amount you have left over. Now that can either go into savings, it can go to debt, whatever it is that you need that leftover money for, or you can disperse it around your other envelopes. It's just up to you, but this helps you keep track of what you have left from your paycheck. It's kind of like a zero-based budget, but my own version of it. And then last but not least, like I said, there's notes at the bottom. Any notes you need to make, like extra income you have coming in and extra expense coming up, I like to put those here at the bottom in the notes. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break now, finish filling this out, and then I'm going to show it to you guys with the filled out example, and hopefully this is helpful. Here we go. I have filled out this fake budget just so you guys could have a look and see what it could look like as a completed budget. So over here, I filled in all these different expenses, how much they cost, and the month. So most of these are June. I have a couple Julys at the bottom, and it tells me how many I've already put away for that month and how it's covered. And then over here, I've got all my miscellaneous. Now the top section here are all ones that I would normally put money away towards, like fun money in restaurants and fuel. So that's car fuel. And then down here, I put haircut. So haircut is kind of a special expense that I might not be saving for all the time. So that one is actually going into savings, just kind of like vacation. So I put the little check mark over here, and I kind of separated a little bit since it's not a typical envelope for me. And then I took these two totals here, brought them down here, added them up. They came out to $1,666.20. I subtracted that from my paycheck of $3,000. Remember, this is fake. And I had $1,333.80 left. So that's what I can put into my savings or into more of these, like vacation or wherever I want it to go. You know, it's just kind of your budget, however you need to customize it. And then in my notes section down here, I made a little note about how I have my second year up trip payment is due on July 12th. So I don't want to forget that. So this is how you can kind of make a budget, customize it how you want, get rid of the notes section, make these a little longer, make them shorter, whatever it is that you need. I typically make my budget layout in a traveler size notebook, so it's a little bit less space, but that's what works well for me. It's really just up to you. So I hope this helped you today. Like I said, there is going to be a blog as well where you can read more about this and follow the steps there too. And there will also be a printable that I'm going to make available that's going to be a savings tracker. So if you need help saving for something, that's something that you can use. Thank you for watching my video today, and I hope it helped. Have a wonderful day.